All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us at CoronaCon 2020. I'm super excited for you to be here to hear me speak. I'm Felicia Dortch. I'm a publisher and an author, as well as a model and all-time mom boss, part-time superhero. So, what I like to for you guys to what I would like to talk about is writing for your peace and sanity during this time. Give you some ideas on how you can start writing and how you can get your book published. One of the biggest things that's going on right now is boredom for a lot of people. And I've talked to numerous individuals telling me that, I have a story, or I sit and I think about different stories. I just never put it on paper. Well, now that we are stuck inside the house, things have calmed down. A lot of us are not working. The last thing you would think is about writing. But honestly, studies have shown that writing can help you with depression, anxiety, and stress levels. Some of the times, I can say honestly for myself, when I write my best manuscript or write for other people, I'm sitting in my living room and I'll just have an idea pop up and I'll write it down, or I'll elaborate on that idea. Or even when I'm in the car, it sounds funny, but I use my phone a lot to record some of my thoughts. I spoke with a client today and he told me that, he was interested in writing now because he felt like if something happened to him, what would his legacy be? What would be written about him? So that's one of the things that a lot of people are thinking about during this time, not only with just family, you're worried about your family that you can't see, worried about loved ones, older loved ones like your mother. I haven't seen my mom in a couple of days, which I normally see her every other day. So I took this time to really sit down and write some things down, created a few books, few manuscripts, and even a couple of screenplays. So when you're writing, some of the things that you don't have to worry about when you're writing, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You don't have to, much more or less, even write complete sentences. You just get your thoughts down. And then you go back when you have more time and really dig through the story and create the story. During the publishing process, if you were to choose me with Purpose Publishing, you would want to, we would start with a consultation and we discuss your project. So during this lovely time of quarantine, you sitting down and you're writing all these thoughts out and they're all over the place. Well, once you speak with me, then we will sit down and kind of dig through the concepts and formulate a story. For an example, I had a client that sent me numerous things, just kind of all over the place, but he wanted it to be in his story. And I helped guide him through that by starting with, okay, tell me about it. What would you like the story to be about? And we went through the whole entire process of basically an outline. We didn't do the entire story via phone, but we went through the outline, which helps me to then guide the story if I'm ghostwriting the story, or if I am helping. So, writing for your sanity, going back to that, when I was going through, just to be totally transparent, when I was going through some depression and anxiety, through some of my own personal things, I would write. And I didn't really have many people that I wanted to talk to. So honestly, I would start off saying, Dear God, and I would talk to God. And I would tell him everything that's bothering me, everything that I was going through. And the funny thing was, as I'm writing these things down, I'm coming up with solutions to the problem. I'm coming up with ways to get out of the situation or to fix what I'm going through at that time. And then I started thinking, well, what if I had a way to do this on a daily prompt? I'd start with a scripture and then I'd write, Dear God, and I'd talk about my day or whatever was going on with me at that time. And that is actually how I developed Dear God, Can You Hear Me, which is a prayer journal. So then coming along with the next book, so as individual people, I'm not going to even say just as moms, we have extremely busy days. So I write everything down, I schedule everything out, and then I started thinking about it. Wow, I had plenty of people saying, how do you keep up with all of this? You keep it with your kids, they're homeschoolers, and you work, and you're trying to run a business. I kept a planner. Another thing with notes. So with my planner, I'm writing down activities and things that I'm doing, as well as writing prompts for different books. I noticed I was doing that. So I created hashtag Mom Boss. So as you can see, what I'm saying, doing daily activities, you don't even think about the fact that you have a story or you have things that may help other people. What I went through and my book, Dear God, Can You Hear Me, touched thousands of people because they felt like they were in the same situation. Right now, in the situation that we're in, through all of the things that I've been through, led me to determine what my purpose in life was, which led me to the next book, God's Purpose, which I discuss how to find the purpose that God has for you in your life. So my whole point of saying that is during this time that we're quarantined and you're thinking about different things, for myself, I think about my brother, the memories I had with him, and I think about the silly things my children do, how I'm dealing with all of this, and I've developed another book out of that. So it would be great for you to take this opportunity to just jot some things down. One good thing is I have a client that's writing about his childhood and to where he is now. So he's had time to really sit down and think of things. And then once we talk, he goes back and he's like, wow, I remember this happened and I remember that happened. And we had a meeting today and I explained to him that people don't understand that you truly have a story. I didn't know that the story that I had would touch so many people until I spoke about it on a radio show. And I had my inbox exploded with different women that went through the same thing that I went through. And I realized that when we hold stories in, we're not doing we're not doing the story any service. There's a purpose for your pain. So this gives you an opportunity to put that pain or purpose on paper and then help thousands of other people instead of you holding it in. When I finally got my story out, that relieved so much pressure. I mean, I felt like a weight had been lifted and it wasn't a major secret. It's just I held it into myself as my own personal pain and didn't realize that speaking to others would free so many people. So during the publishing process, back to that, the first thing you would do is start with a consultation. And again, we would discuss your book and your project, and we would discuss if it's already written or do I need to be a ghostwriter. And for those who are not familiar with ghostwriting, it's where you basically give me the information or kind of like an idea of what you want to write about. You can either give me an outline or you can just say, hey, I want to write about whatever, and I'll come up with the entire scenario, the entire story. So with that, or I've had clients where they've given me majority of it, or there's kind of like an outline and then there's holes. So I go in and I fill in the holes. That's another part of ghostwriting. Other clients bring me the entire manuscript. So once I get the entire manuscript, then it goes and we agree on a contract. Yes, ma'am, there's a contract involved. Always protect yourself. Once the contract is signed and a manuscript is received, then we go through the editing process. And with the editing, my editor is just looking for grammatical errors, sentence structure, and making sure that the story flows. We do discuss if you want to keep things, for an example, slang. Some people like to keep exactly the way they say it. That's how they want it written in a book, and we leave those things as such. The first round of editing, after that, it's sent back to you, and you're then going to agree, if you agree with it and you say, hey, Felicia, I love the way that looks, I'm okay with it, keep going, then we'll move on to the formatting process. If you're not okay with it, then at that point, we'll discuss it and you'll say, hey, you know what, I like the way it is, but I want you to keep this in there or add this in there. This is your opportunity to go back, look at it, maybe revise it, or check to see if the meaning is the same the way you wanted it. Okay, once that step is completed, then we move on to the formatting. And basically the formatting is just fitting it into the size of the book and polishing it up, making it look really nice. Once the formatting is done, that's the finished product of what you're going to get. That's the way it's going to look in your book. So then I send that back to you. You look at it, you approve it. And in between those two processes, we are also creating a book cover. I've had several clients to send me a picture that they own, and you have to own the picture. You cannot use a picture without permission. Or I have a graphic artist that will create a cover. So the formatter sends it back to me, and I send it to the client, and we discuss it. At the same time, we're discussing the cover. Let's say all three of those components are completed. Well, then I will send everything back to you for one more chance to look it over and make sure there's nothing else that you want added to it. And then we'll produce your book. I'm a vendor with Amazon as well as Barnes and Nobles. Those are the two main distributors that I use. I've had great success, especially with Amazon. One of the biggest things with my publishing company is I don't touch your royalties. You basically pay me to publish. And once the publishing is complete, your royalties go to you. There are several companies out there that you have to be careful about because they will take part of your royalties. So you're not only paying for publishing, but you're also you're giving them majority of your royalties. A few questions that I've had from clients is, how do they get the marketing done? There are so many ways to market. With social media being so vast now, so many opportunities to promote your book, but it takes work. This is where some of my clients don't understand. They expect that once they produce a book, it's just supposed to reach millions. It's not going to do that without work. You have to push your book just like you push anything else. We promote a lot of unnecessary things on Facebook, I like to say, but then when it comes to your own personal product, we tend to shy away. And to be honest and transparent, I was one of those people. I had this book and I just had a book. And then I had one person say, well, why are you not putting it on social media? Well, I'm not a big social media fan. Okay, well, then obviously you don't want your book sold. So once I started putting it on social media, then it soared, obviously, because I began to promote my book. It also opened up several opportunities for me to ghostwrite, as well as write screenplays, as well as write for other people. There's opportunities for celebrity marketing. With my company, I do have a network. That's another thing. You need to definitely network. So I've created a very good team of individuals that help me get the marketing in place. You will see on my Facebook page as well as my website, I have several celebrities that market my book for me, in which you want to know how I get that done is they receive a copy of the book and advance a copy, and then they write a review about it. They do it via video. Some other marketing opportunities are military marketing. You can go to the base, especially during Christmas or anytime that the military would want to purchase gifts for family members, Christmas, birthdays, different holidays. They have a place where you turn in the paperwork, get clearance, and you can set up a booth at the military base. Some other marketing opportunities will be in magazines, promo videos. My company has the ability to do all of those things. But here's the thing that stops a lot of people from writing is the money. You have to invest in yourself. You cannot expect to write something or to have something and not push the product, or not have to pay to push the product or build the product for that matter. You have to be able to make a decision. When you're deciding to write, you literally have to sit down with a budget in mind and think about exactly what do you hope for this book to do for you, or how far do you want it to go. There are some authors that just want to write it because they say I've always wanted to write, and they don't have any purpose for the book other than there was a story, I decided to write it, and now it's going to just sit on my shelf. Others really want to push the book to possibly become a screenplay or a movie. I have a book that I haven't produced yet. I actually completed the entire book, but have decided that I'm going to write it as a screenplay to hopefully pitch to the networks real soon. So there's so many different avenues that you can take with your book, and taking with this time that we have right now to not only gain sanity from boredom, just writing. Right now, there's an opportunity. BET is looking for comedies. There's tons of movies. I'm pretty sure everyone is sick and tired of looking at reruns. So there's an opportunity to write these books, and with people not being able to get out and enjoy things or go outside their walls, I feel like this is the best time to get your book in the hands of everyone. Even people that don't normally read are getting tired of watching TV and prefer a really good book to read. And on social media, just alone today, I've noticed probably 6 to 10 posts asking people, what are you reading right now? And that's my opportunity to put in their hands God's purpose, because that's exactly what you need to be reading right now. Also, it's an opportunity for you to network, build your business if you have a business, or if you don't have a business. This epidemic or pandemic rather, sorry, alone should make you understand that you need something outside of your job that you're at right now. Now, I'm not saying that you can write a book and be a millionaire by tomorrow, but you don't know what your purpose is. That one book, that one story may be the story that changed many lives, which will lead you to exactly the financial gains or exactly where you're trying to be. But taking the opportunity to either start a business or grow your business or put a book in another person's hands is in your hands. We have plenty of time to do it. There's nowhere that we can go right now. So this would be a great opportunity for you to work with me and my company. And I do offer payment plans. I know that's one of the biggest things that people are concerned with, is spending the money when you're not sure if you're going to have money even coming in. But you have to take the chance. You have to think about it. And to give you an idea, I'm actually a registered nurse. And I've been a nurse for 16 years. I've ran hospitals. I've opened hospitals. I was a travel nurse. And I'm currently not working in a hospital. I do see patients often during the week, but I'm working as a nurse analyst. And one of the things that I received an email the other day saying that they may not have enough work for me to continue during this time because, of course, suing people or lawsuits are not what do they call essential businesses at this time. So that gives me, now I'm faced with, do I go to the hospital, get back on the front lines, try to help save people's lives, and also put my family at risk by bringing that back to my household? Because right now, I don't think anyone is real sure how the coronavirus is even spread. So I'm taking this opportunity to think, okay, what can I do to grow my business? What else can I write? How many people can I secure for a ghostwriting opportunity? Or how many people can I help publish their book? Or what type of offers can I offer to keep myself going, as well as produce more authors and great books? So again, this is the opportunity for you to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. I'm looking at Facebook posts and I'm kind of over the TikTok videos. They're funny, but what's more of a productive way that you can spend your time? And maybe you're saying, okay, Felicia, I don't want to write a book. Okay, that's fine. Well, what about just leaving a legacy or leaving a story for your family? One of the things that I'm writing right now is a story about me. And I know you're saying, oh, just your life. No, it's the trials and tribulations that I've been through. But I want this story written for my children for several reasons. I want them to see that when you want something, you get up and you go get it. You don't stop till you make it happen. I want them to see that, yes, mommy failed, but mommy got back up, or mommy excelled in this area and didn't stop. It's more of a motivational thing. And even if that book only changes the lives of my 3 children, then I feel like I've mastered everything. I want my kids to know that nothing's going to be handed to you. Look at the life that I led. Look at what I went through, where I started from and where I am now. So if you don't want to write a book to produce for other people to read, write it for your family. I would have loved to have written a book when my grandmother was alive, just to tell the story of her being a slave, or not even knowing how to read, but went through her entire life and knew everything, but at that time I wasn't thinking about writing her story. And I've been writing for a very long time. I love to write. I've been creating stories since I could talk. But I'm just now getting to the point where I'm writing those things down. So I'm saying that to say this: it doesn't have to be writing to become this famous writer. It could be just writing to leave something cherished to your family. I have another friend that wrote about her entire family history, from where they came from where they started, which is amazing. It's almost like a family history book. So again, during this time, we have so many opportunities to create things and to live our best life with what's our new normal at this point. We're in such high demand of writers, and there's people willing to read it if you get it into the right hands, if you're working with the right companies. Oh, let me touch on that. That's another thing. If you decide to write a book and for some odd reason you decide not to use my company, which shame on you. But if you do decide to write a book, make sure you're researching the companies that you're dealing with. Check everything about them, check their reviews, check their royalties. Do they take your royalties, or are you just publishing, are they just publishing your book? Do they help you market? What type of networking ability they have? What type of contacts? Because they can prove anything to you, but proof is in the pudding. If I tell you I can do a celebrity marketing video, or I have the contact to do it, then you clearly can see on my page that I do so. If I tell you that I can have you put in a magazine or written by an award-winning journalist, I know someone that has the ability to do that, then you can look on my page and you see that. So I have the proof of everything that I am able to do. So you want to make sure that you're looking at those things. And honestly, right now is the greatest time, because you're not distracted by rushing home from work, and you're not distracted by, once you get home, you have a million things you have to do, and you have no time to sit down and write. You honestly have all the time in the world. And if you just stop and think about it, everyone has a story. Everyone. I talk to people daily, and they'll tell me something, and I was like, my Lord, that's a lifetime movie, and possibly it could be. You never know. You won't know until you write it. So one of the biggest things I can say for you to do is, even if you're just not sure how to even get the story out, start a journal. My oldest daughter has a journal. I'm starting my 13-year-old with a journal, and just write anything and everything. Write your thoughts, write your feelings. You will notice that keeping a journal, and just address it to yourself, like talk to yourself as if you want to give yourself better advice in life or the future. And you will be amazed at how easy that information flows out of you. Or if you want to just get some things off your chest, there are some things that I struggle with that happened to me a long time ago. And when I started writing about it, I let it go. I moved on. It's not held inside of me. I'm not stressed about it. I'm not worried about it. I don't even think about it until I go back to my journal. One of the things I used to do was fill up the journal and then burn it up. And to me, that's letting everything go. Once I burn it up, it doesn't matter to me. It's gone, it's done. So all of these opportunities right now to write for your sanity, writing for peace, while you gain clarity in what you're trying to do. If you think about it, writing is involved with everything. When you're trying to decide what you're trying to do, the first thing you do is pros and cons. You write it down. That can be the same thing with writing. You write down a bunch of, I guess, like just sentences or thoughts of what type of book you would want to write, or what you want to write about, the topic, and just go from there. And if that doesn't work, if you don't start flowing with the words, maybe that's not the right topic. Move on to something else. I've done that numerous times. I've completely sat down at a laptop, started writing because I had this great idea, woke up in the middle of the night, thought about it, wrote it down, and then couldn't think of anything to say. So I don't scrap it. I just move on to the next topic. And then when it comes to me, then that's when I start writing it. Let me just make sure I covered everything. So just to make sure I wrap it up and tie it all back together, the steps to writing is basically just start writing. Don't worry about if it makes sense, just write it all down, get with a publisher, me, and then we'll do a consultation. We'll talk about your project. We'll get it edited, step 1, formatted, step 2, cover created, step 3, and then once your final review, step 4, then your book is produced. And once it's produced, it's uploaded to Amazon and Barnes and Nobles. And then if you hire me to do the marketing portion of it, then we will start with that and we'll discuss what your goals are and what your budget is. So those are my steps to publishing. And again, I'm speaking on writing for your peace and sanity and clarity during this coronavirus pandemic. And like I said earlier, you don't necessarily have to write to publish, but you should write for sanity. Write to get it off your chest. Just write. I write when I don't have any, or well, I got plenty of people to talk to, but maybe I don't want to discuss it at that time. Majority of the time I write it. My audience is usually God. And I start every journal entry with Dear God, and then I just write. And I talk about whatever's bothering me, and then I let it go. So that's the biggest step to writing for your sanity and peace and clarity. This time I feel like right now what we're going through has slowed the world down. It has slowed a lot of people down to just really stop and think about what's important, what's valuable to you, who's valuable to you, and what you need to do with your life going forward. I believe at this time, the world is going to produce a ton of entrepreneurs, a ton of authors, and as well as other abilities because people are not working, so they're being creative. Why not give that opportunity to be creative by writing? You never know who your book would help. You never know who your book will save. To reach me, you can reach me on Instagram at Dortch Felicia. You can reach me at www.purposepublishingcompany@gmail.com. And you can find my website at www.purposepublishingllc.com, as well as Facebook, Felicia Dortch. It has been a tremendous pleasure speaking to you. And I hope to have this opportunity again. Please share this video. If you reach out to me right now, I'm offering $500 off of your publishing package. So get at me real soon because I don't work with that many people at one time because I want to make sure that your book is taken care of from every step of the way. I am definitely very involved in it as well as you will be involved in it. So again, you can reach me on Instagram at Dortch Felicia. You can send me an email at www.purposepublishingcompany@gmail.com, or you can just send me a message. That's how most people do. There's hit me on Messenger. And again, that's Felicia Dortch on Facebook. And let me see if I can get any questions. Just give me a second. I'm just checking to see if I can see the questions. Give me a second. I'm just checking. Okay, that ain't gonna work. Well, hopefully Dave will chime in and let me know if I have any questions. Okay. Well, until they hop in or tell me what to do, you're gonna be stuck with me for a few more minutes. So I'm really hoping that I get to meet with you, some of you guys, and speak with you. I have great contacts, and we can get your book going, as well as I think he just hopped in to join us.
I just hopped in real quick. How do you get over writer's block? Was one of the questions I saw.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, so with writer's block, honestly, I stopped. I completely Well, the way I write, I give myself a deadline for each project. This is the reason why I don't work with that many people at one time. But for my personal style, I will just completely stop that entire story and I will give myself one day to get back on track. And normally I will do something that's not writing related. I will completely leave the house, go do something else. I'll go play with my kids, or I'll even just talk to my kids about the story if it's my personal story. And you'd be amazed of some of the ideas they come up with, and then I'll figure it out. But a lot of times I just get away from it completely and stop the whole writing process. Because at that point, your mind is jumbled. You need something else to do.
So another question is, what is the cost to um, really put something together from start to finish working?
Well, it depends on what all you want, how involved you want me to be. With no publishing, I mean, no marketing at all, the packages start at $2,100 and can go up higher than that. It just really depends on if I'm writing it or you're writing it. Am I going to market for you, or are you just marketing? But at the cheapest, it'll start at 2,000.
Well, that's all the questions we have.
Okay. Well, wonderful. I had a phenomenal time and I hope this helped. And I'm looking forward to people reaching out to me. Did I lose you, Dave? Okay.
Nope.
Oh, sorry, did I lose you?
No. So Felicia, one more time, tell people where they can reach you, all the good information, so that they can make the most of getting to know you, because you're just a phenomenal resource when it comes to books.
Absolutely. You can reach me on Instagram at Dortch Felicia, and Purpose Publishing Company at gmail.com, and also www.purposepublishingllc.com. That's my actual email address, or Facebook, Felicia Dortch. I get majority of my customers from just sending me a message on Messenger.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here, Karan. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a phenomenal opportunity. Thank you. I look forward to hearing from you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.